Fox News is such a propaganda outlet. They are so detached from reality over there at Fox that whenever a Democrat comes on and speaks the truth and calls out their lies to their face, they just can't handle it. They are so shook up that their bubble of cognitive dissonance has been burst and they just can't handle being called out. And you can always see on the host's face, whoever it is, when they are being called out, when their lies are being shut down, you can see the look of regret. And that happened in the most amazing way when Senator Chris Murphy went on Fox and absolutely shut down their lies about Kamala Harris. And there's a couple great clips from his interview. But first, I want to check out this one.
You told the Washington Examiner this week Kamala Harris was given a job to reduce migration from Central America, and she did it incredibly well, stunningly well. But the numbers do show a different picture there. 4.31 million migrants from these countries, specifically, crossed into the U.S. since 2021. It is up 140% from Trump's term, 34% from the Obama years. How is that stunningly well?
So I'm squinting to read your figures, but the figures I have seen show that from the three Northern Triangle countries that Kamala Harris was put in charge of stemming migration from, migration has dropped by 50 to 60% from those countries. What has increased
over the course of the term because it started so high.
Well, it started so high in part because of a series of crises that unfolded during the Trump administration. What drove the increase in migration was in part huge increased travel from a country like Venezuela, which was plunged into economic crisis because of Donald Trump's policies. Kamala Harris was given an important but discrete task. She was able to dramatically reduce migration from those countries. And again, apples to apples, crossings at the southwest border are lower today than they were at the end of the Trump administration.
Not only does Senator Murphy in that clip shut down the original lie by the Fox host that Kamala Harris was ever the border czar or completely in charge of all aspects of the border, which is completely false, not true, a lie being pushed a lot by Republicans lately. But then he flips it. He flips the script and starts talking about the ways that in Kamala Harris's specific responsibilities dealing with the border, she's been incredibly successful, and how the border is more secure under the Biden-Harris administration than it was under Trump. And I love that he is able to turn the tables on these lies that Fox is pushing and then actually speak the truth. And that was also done in a recent ad by the Kamala Harris campaign about the border that I want to check out before we get into the next clip of Senator Murphy.
On the border, the choice is simple. Kamala Harris supports increasing the number of Border Patrol agents. Donald Trump blocked a bill to increase the number of Border Patrol agents. Kamala Harris supports investing in new technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Donald Trump blocked funding for technology to block fentanyl from entering the country. Kamala Harris supports spending more money to stop human traffickers. Donald Trump blocked money to stop human traffickers. Kamala Harris prosecuted transnational gang members and got them sentenced to prison. Trump is trying to avoid being sentenced to prison. There's two choices in this election: the one who will fix our broken immigration system, and the one who's trying to stop her.
Not only did Kamala Harris have success helping to secure the border when she was vice president, but she did it when she was Attorney General of California. She actually locked up criminals. She actually made the border more secure. And I think this is really important to talk about right now because Donald Trump wants to talk about border security, but he doesn't want to put forth policy, of course. In fact, he wants to destroy, and he did destroy, the bipartisan border deal to work to secure the border. It wasn't certainly perfect, but it was a step in a bipartisan direction. Donald Trump wants to talk about border security. He wants to dehumanize immigrants, but he doesn't actually want to do anything. But Kamala Harris has a proven record of actually getting stuff done, both as vice president and as attorney general. We know Kamala Harris can be successful in governing. We've seen a record. We've also seen Donald Trump's record. It's a failure. And on the topic of records, Senator Murphy gets into that in this next clip. Again, just so perfect, him shutting down this Fox host. Let's check it out.
What's at the heart of any democracy? A majority of Americans who elect leaders who agree with them getting what they want. And so I just think that when there's a majority of Congress in favor of a policy, that policy should get to the president's desk. So yes, Kamala Harris is probably going to run on a series of reforms to make democracy work better. Contrast that with Donald Trump, who has promised on day one to become a dictator, to suspend democratic norms, running on the Project 2025 platform that calls for turning the Department of Justice into an operation to hunt political opponents and to kill political dissent. So yeah, I think there's going to be a clear contrast in this election between Kamala Harris, who's going to run on a platform to make democracy work better, and Donald Trump, who is promising to suspend democracy.
Republicans have been making a big effort lately to label Kamala Harris as radical. And so I want to talk about some of those radical positions of hers. Lowering the cost of prescription drugs, investing in infrastructure, cutting child care costs. So scary. Are these radical policies? These are things that Americans can agree on. And not only does Kamala Harris want to put forward and continue these successful policies of the Biden administration, the Biden-Harris administration, she wants to make sure that democracy can work better so that what the American people want actually gets accomplished. Instead of seeing MAGA Republicans in the House stall every bill and try to shoot any good achievement of the Biden administration down, no, she wants democracy to actually work for the American people. She wants to make sure our fundamental freedoms are protected, and she wants to make sure that policy positions that are popular are advanced. And she talked just about this in a new ad that I want to check out.
No more excuses. Joe's out, Kamala's in, Trump's the threat. The future of America hangs in the balance. On one side, a movement to end democracy, to rip away the rights of women, deport hundreds of thousands of American citizens, have Project 2025 shoved down your throat while it destroys your freedom, and to turn back the clock on civil rights, and watch Trump sell off the country to the highest bidder, and surrender to dictators like Putin and Kim. On the other side, a patriotic pro-American coalition, Republicans, Democrats, and independents standing together. We don't agree on everything, but we all agree on one big thing. Donald Trump will destroy this nation. With us by her side, Kamala Harris will stop him. Those are the stakes. This is the fight. Join us.
Donald Trump was a do-nothing and divide president. He didn't pass any meaningful legislation besides a giant tax cut for the rich, and the only people that was meaningful for was the top 1.1%. Obviously not helping all Americans. In fact, hurting all Americans because Donald Trump destroyed our economy during COVID in the way he mismanaged the pandemic. And so Kamala Harris has a proven track record of actually helping, getting legislation passed, passing more tie-breaking votes in the Senate as vice president than any vice president in history. I would say that Kamala Harris has had more success as vice president governing than Donald Trump did as president, with a more limited role. I think we could all agree on that. She has been more consequential and more positive for the American people than Donald Trump could ever dream of being. These are two very different people, but it's not just about the people. It's also about the visions for the future. And of course, Kamala Harris is the only one with a vision for the future because Donald Trump is looking in the past, to 2016, to his first term, when he divided the country, when he made it worse with his attacks on our democracy, our institutions, and our freedoms. So as Kamala Harris says, we're not going back, we're pushing forward, and that's what this channel is about. It is about calling out MAGA hypocrisy and supporting the movement of Kamala Harris's campaign. And if you want to do that, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Join what we are building here. It is an exciting, new, and growing channel every day because of you, viewer. And if you like these videos and this channel, as always, hit that thumbs up, leave a like on this video, and now that I have you here, if you want to go another step further in supporting this channel, you can become a member. You get exclusive member-only bonus content that I'm going to be making every week, and it is a great way to support me if you are so inclined. It would really mean a lot to me. And until next time, I'll see you soon.